Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to edit prospect or client details. So there's three different ways that we can go about doing this, and I'm going to go through each different method. So the first method is by using the Leadbook interface itself. As you can see, I have a list of all of my leads here, and then to the right I have a set of columns, three of which are editable. So we're going to go through how to edit those specific columns. And there's also another way to edit prospects or clients in bulk, which is by selecting the leads that you want to edit and then clicking on bulk edit. And then the third way is by going through each individual prospect or client and actually making adjustments to their lead preferences, contact information, follow-ups, viewed listings, and so forth. And we'll go through each one of those different steps throughout this video. So the first way that I want to show you is how to edit the status, the heat, and the pipeline stage for a lead. Now, in the lead book itself, if you take a look at a lead, for example, I have John Taylor here, and to the right, I have my status, category, heat, source, last visited, age, pipeline stage, follow-up, and whether or not they're pinned at the very top of my list. So some of these categories can be adjusted from this page alone, and some of them cannot be. You would have to go through the lead detail itself and then make those adjustments through the lead detail section. But in this case, we can go ahead and make edits to the status. So let's say initially they were a prospect and then now you've closed them into an actual sale, so now they're a client. We can go ahead and update that to client. And then as for heat, initially, they were a hot lead because they were still a prospect, but now that they've turned into an actual sale, we can probably adjust this to cold. And then the third, which is the pipeline stage. So initially, we were at appointment set. So it goes from new, attempted contact, contacted, appointment set, showing, and sold. So at this point, we've already sold them. So let's go ahead and edit this to sold. So now, as you can see, we've edited the status, we've edited heat, and the pipeline stage. So you can do all of those things straight through the lead book front page itself. And plus, if you don't want to pin them at the very top anymore, perhaps since this prospect is no longer a lead that you're working with on a regular basis, perhaps you can unpin them. So you can go ahead and remove them from the top there. Now, at other times, you might not need to edit individual status, pipeline stages, or heats. Perhaps you do want to make a bulk edit for multiple leads or multiple clients and prospects. So in this case, let's say we want to edit both Oliver and Mike into a completely different heat. What we can do in that case is make sure that they're both checked off, and then under bulk edit, we're going to click on bulk edit heat. So in this case, they were initially either cold or hot or unclear or warm. Now we can both make them into hot, let's say, and then save those changes. So as you can see now, Oliver and Mike are both in the hot heat status. And then of course we can make some additional edits under bulk edits. You can also bulk edit their category or pipeline stage. Of course, for this particular example, it might not make too much sense to do a bulk edit because there's only two of them, but at a different time, maybe you have 10 different prospects that you want to turn into clients or 20 different leads that you want to update their category, then it would make sense to do it this way. So let's go ahead and click on bulk edit category. And then for both of these leads, we're going to add them into our buyer and seller category. So there we have it. They're both in our buyer and seller category. And then for my 5 different leads, I'm also going to bulk edit the pipeline stage. So in this case, they were already a new client. I've already attempted to contact them. I've contacted them, and then now the appointments have been set. So for all 5 of them, I'm going to click on appointment set and save those changes. So as you can see under pipeline stage, all 5 of them should have been under appointment set. Now, if you have an office website solution rather than an agent website solution, you should have an additional drop down under your bulk edit, which allows you to assign leads in bulk to another agent or a specific agent. So if you have an office website solution and you'd like to assign multiple leads to another agent, you can just select those leads that you'd like to assign to somebody, click on bulk edit, click on bulk assign leads, and then choose the agent that you want to assign the leads to. Now, if you also want to delete leads in bulk, you can do that just by clicking on this delete button. You can select as many as you want at a time or individual ones at a time. Just make sure that you select delete and that you confirm that you would like to move these items into your trash. So that's how you use the bulk edit option. Now, oftentimes you might want to adjust the details for each of your leads. And this could be because you want to change the lead preferences, change their phone number, their email address, or whatever other information you'd like to update. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use John Taylor and I'm going to adjust his lead details. So we're going to go ahead and click on his information. So these are the lead details of John Taylor. In this details page, I'm just going to edit as many items as I can so that you can familiarize yourself with the different functionalities and editing factors included. So the first one is John's details. So we're going to go ahead and click on this edit icon up here. If you want to edit his name, last name, lead status, if you want to add in a phone number, we can go ahead and do that. You can type in a city, an address if you have it, and then if you want to adjust his birthday, any important anniversaries, you can add as many as you want. We have some available for purchase anniversaries, sale anniversaries. The benefit about this is that once that date comes about, there will be an automated email sent to their email address congratulating them of their purchase anniversary, sale anniversary, or wedding anniversary. And of course, you can edit their preferences, perhaps if it changed from a single family home to a semi-detached, condo, townhouse, whatever it is. That way you always have your information up to date. And if you also want to update their lead category, so let's say you want to move them from buyer and seller to a renter, or if you've created your own group, you might want to move them into that group instead, then you can go ahead and do that here. And once you're done, just make sure to hit save. There's the save button at the bottom or at the very top, whichever one you're more comfortable with. Just make sure to hit that green button at the very end. And then so you'll see those special occasions, the birthday that we added, wedding anniversary, and then the lead preferences updated on this page. And at the bottom, if you have any notes that you want to add in, you can do that as well. And this is very helpful, especially if you want to keep track of the transactions that are going on between you and the client. If there's any verbal communication that you want to make sure that you pin or don't forget, so you add that into your notes. So let's say and then we're just going to add the note here. And there we go. And then in the future, if you want to edit those and delete it, you can as well. And then now for the 5 different tabs at the very top. So for each one, there's some additional details that tell you about this lead. You have user submissions, which tells you the exact form that they filled out, which generated this lead. So I can see that they filled out, tell me about this property entry on May 17th at 3:35, and then they also filled out the ask question form entry. So these are their details that they've included into that form. And this is going to help you better understand what kind of properties they're looking at. Of course, there's far more details included per lead other than user submissions, and I'll go through that when I go on to viewed listings and saved searches. But at the bottom here, you also have the pipeline stage. So the pipeline stage allows you to figure out which part of the spectrum they're currently in your sales funnel. So if they're a brand new lead, if you've just attempted to contact them, if they've already been contacted, if the appointment has been set, if you are currently showing different properties, or if they've been sold. So then that way you know exactly where they are in your pipeline stage. And then throughout time, you can make adjustments to it. You can move it to appointment set, click showing if you're currently showing, and then hit sold once you've actually closed the deal and turned your prospect into a client. Now, under follow-ups, these are any of the upcoming follow-ups that you've created for yourself. And keep in mind that if you don't complete them, so this is actually a complete button for each one of these follow-ups. If you don't complete that follow-up, it will continue to send you notifications via email. So make sure to go ahead and complete them. If you need to create more, you can click on this green button up here that says Add Follow-up. So then you can choose the date, the time. So let's say this is going to be in the morning, and this is going to be a phone call, and I'd like a reminder on the same day actually. And this is just going to be 30 minutes prior. So let's go ahead and make that 8:30, and we're going to be discussing property of interest in Toronto, and then hit save. So then now when you've created that, it's going to add it under your follow-ups. So you should see a brand new follow-up there. Now under email logs, once you've generated the lead, you'll notice that they either chose buyer and seller, or seller or buyer or renter or other as their identifier. So what this does is it automatically assigns them into that respective lead category and automatically sends them emails based on that lead category they're in. So as you can see, John Taylor belongs in the buyer and seller drip email campaign. And so far, he's been sent 2 different emails. So he's been sent an email on the 18th and one on the 19th. And you can actually take a look at what the email contains. So if you want to see the content of the email, you can edit this, and I will show you how to edit that later on. If you want to take a look at reports, so if you would like to know if they opened it, clicked it, if it had bounced, if they had unsubscribed, all of those details will be included here as well. So I'm just going to close those for now. And standalone campaigns are for birthday cards, holiday greetings, anything automated really that's supposed to go out for your leads. If anything has been sent to them, you will see it under standalone campaigns. And then now we have viewed listings. So the viewed listings shows all of the properties that this particular lead has looked at on your site. So I can see that on the 22nd of May, around 2/26, John has actually looked at a lot of properties between 500K and up. So I can see this is probably the most expensive, or 998. And then I have one from another location, 1.3 mil. And then you can continue to see more to see exactly what type of properties this lead is interested in. If you notice that the picture and the details have gone away, but the link is still there, that means it's no longer on the MLS. And that all of the other ones here that are still showcased under viewed listings are still on the MLS. And this is very helpful, especially if you're trying to gauge exactly what it is that they're interested in, and if you'd like to approach them in a way where they would actually take interest in the properties that you have to offer. And then we have saved searches. So saved searches is a really cool feature because, for example, let's say that you have a lead who has gone onto your website and they've saved a search of their own. What that does is it will automatically send them properties through their inbox that are relevant to their saved searches. So by number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, city, how much it is, local area. all of those emails and properties are going to be sent to them automatically. So if I go onto the drop down and let's say you click on user created, you notice that they never generated any saved searches for themselves. What you can do is you can create it for them so that your system will automatically send them those properties. So to do that, you click on save a new search, and it's going to take you to this map where you can type in the exact location that you would want them to start receiving emails about. So let's say I know that this lead is genuinely interested in properties in Toronto, so I'm going to click on Toronto, or you can make it even more refined. You can use a postal code, you can use an address, but for now, let's just keep it general. You can change the radius. So if you want to widen or minimize the radius, you can. We're going to make this detached homes between the price of 500K to 950, and we're going to put 4 beds and 3+ bathrooms. So now what this is going to do is once saved, you'll see that here's our save search right here that we just created. So what this does is it will automatically send John emails about properties relevant to this save search. So by location, by price, by sales, by bed and bath, and so forth. And this makes the process a lot easier for you because now you don't have to necessarily curate all of those emails that should be automatically going to your leads. Instead, your system has been automated to send those properties on your behalf with your branding to help nurture your leads automatically.